Hi, welcome to today's Piece of Peace. We start off again today with our top 10 gratitudes. And I was thanking him for the worship service the prior day. It seemed very powerful. And his words for me, thanking him for the time with my dad, who I haven't seen for so long, and my sister and her husband, having time alone with them and being able to sit outside and hear his stories and see his face after so many months. It was a pleasure. Spending time with my husband and going, just sort of being able to talk about how his importance in our life has been. This new song called Just Jesus, showing me when I was thanking him, having gratitude for how he shows me when I take control of something and how it epically fails. And when I allow him control of it, it seems to prosper. And I love that he reveals to me without shame how you've grabbed a hold of that again and you're trying to take control of that again. And how is that working for you? And it never seems to be working for me. So I love that he does allow me so that I can see, and I'm grateful. I have this anticipation of my children coming over tonight to celebrate Father's Day, and I'm excited about that. I love seeing my granddaughter and all of my boys and my daughter-in-law and girlfriends and stuff like that. I talk with my sister, waking up early. Our time together, meaning God and I, and what he teaches me. He taught me a profound lesson yesterday. I'm really hoping that he'll allow me to share that for one of the pieces of peace. For igniting a fire in me again, believing in your power and new possibilities. The words he gave me after that, I was just like, Lord, what do you want me to hear from you? And he's like, surrender. Continue to surrender to me. Place all that you are in my capable hands. So things that sort of stood out in my gratitude was that I was thanking him for things that were difficult. And that he's starting to give me new perspective. And that he calls me to surrender even more. So in our devotion today, which is out of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 7 through 18, the devotion is entitled Eternal Eyes. 2 Corinthians 4, 7 through 18, and I'll start reading that. But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. For we who are alive are always being given over to death for Jesus' sake. I had a side note on here. It's just like dying to ourselves for Jesus, so that his life may be revealed in our mortal body. So then, death is at work in us, but life is at work in you. It is written, I believe, therefore I have spoken. With that same spirit of faith, we also believe and therefore speak, because we know that the one who raised the Lord Jesus from the dead will also raise us with Jesus and present us with you in his presence. All of this is for your benefit, so that the grace that is reaching more and more people may cause thanksgiving to overflow to the glory of God. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. I want to say that again. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. The devotion reads, eternal eyes. That's what my friend Maybelline prays for her children and grandchildren would have. Her family has gone through a tumultuous season that ended with the death of her daughter. As the family grieves this horrific loss, Madeline longs for them to be less and less nearsighted, consumed by the pain of the world, and to be more and more farsighted, filled with hope in our loving God. The Apostle Paul and his co-workers experienced great suffering at the hands of persecutors, and even from believers who tried to discredit them. Yet they had their eyes fixed on eternity. Paul boldly acknowledged that we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Although they were doing God's work, they lived with the reality of being hard-pressed on every side, perplexed, persecuted, and struck down. Should God have delivered them from these troubles? But instead of being disappointed, Paul built his hope on the eternal glory that supersedes momentary troubles. He knew God's power was at work in him and had complete assurance that the one who raised the Lord Jesus from the dead would raise us with Jesus. When our world around us feels shaky, may we turn our eyes to God, the eternal rock that will never be destroyed. Their charge to us is, in what do you choose to hope in spite of your difficulties? How have you experienced God's faithfulness? And their prayer, I lift my eyes to you today, O God. Give me a glimpse of the security I have in you. He is our only security. Which leads us to our Jesus Calling. And Sarah Young, download her app, order her book. He says, from the perspective of God speaking to us, she writes, so God's saying, thank you for the very thank me for the very things that are troubling you. You are on the brink of rebellion, precariously close to shaking your fist in my face. You are tempted to indulge in just a little complaining about my treatment of you. But once you step over that line, torrents of rage and self-pity can sweep you away. The best protection against this indulgence is thanksgiving. It is impossible to thank me and curse me at the same time. Thanking me for trials will feel awkward and contrived at first. But if you persist, your thankful words, prayed in faith, will eventually make a difference in your heart. I want to repeat that part. Thanking me for trials will feel awkward and contrived at first. But if you persist, your thankful words, prayed in faith, will eventually make a difference in your heart. Thankfulness awakens you to my presence, which overshadows all your problems. There's today's piece of peace. Blessings.